All right. Hello. We are live on Facebook. Hey,
Hello,
Carrie.
Colleen.
All the way from Oklahoma. She is
Yes.
joining me today. And I thought she was still here in Arizona. And I was like, wait, what? What are you're looking at homes in Oklahoma? What am I thought you were here. And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, sorry, can't come to happy hour tonight. I flew on a plane.
Yeah. Well, nobody knows that news yet. So I told you it's just a temporary assignment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
All good.
apparently I'm spilling more beans than I'm supposed
It's
to be
all
today.
good.
Sorry. Well,
Not a
this
big
is what I love about Carrie and why you guys, this is the third time you've all seen me on here today. And I'm doing these videos because I want to continue bringing exposure and light to the women in this book, to the women that are experts in this summit, and to all the women in Lead Up for Women. That's what I do. It's what I love. And that's why we created this book so that we could help so many other women out there that are trying to figure out, how do I expand my influence? How do I figure out where I'm going? And we just talked to Eve Kyle not too long ago. And she just did an interview with me. And she said, if you don't know what your power within is or your character strengths are, how can you really lean into that, especially in the middle of storms? Which I know is perfect for what you're talking about, Carrie, because you're the vision expert. You're who I call in for vision expertise. You're who I call in to talk to groups. You are to me the person that helps create that. So talk to me a little bit about why vision is victory to you and why you help so many people with their vision.
well, because I did it first and foremost for myself, well over 25 years ago. Because I was in my late 20s then and I was working a 9 to 5 job and not loving that. I wanted to be able to stay home and raise my kids. So I was blessed with my first mentor showing up in my life and saying, Carrie, you can create your life to look like whatever you want it to look like. You just have to be super clear on what that is and get it on paper. Detail in all the areas of your life, right? So I did that. And then God and the universe and I started collaborating, and one after another, all those things started happening for me. And so I just really believed in it. And during my reign as an entrepreneur now for over 25 years, building two different business models, I've been teaching it to over thousands of people, right? So I know it works. And I know it especially works for people who feel like they're drifting through life. They're not feeling like they're succeeding in any area. And if they're really struggling with any sort of depression, anxiety, all the things that I think a lot of people are struggling with right now. And I'm very anchored in that because, as you know, and I talk about this in the book and this in the summit as well, that I've lost both my husband and my son to suicide in the past 7 years. So for me, vision is the answer to just about everything, right? So that's why I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah. And, we talk about it in business a lot. You can't have a business that, I say if you put a boat in a harbor and you just, put it to drive and it goes, it's not going to hit the destination you want to go to. So
Right.
if there's no vision and then you've not created a path along with that vision, then what are you working toward? What is anything that you're doing for, right? So we need to have a vision more often than we think. And so I see so many entrepreneurs make that mistake and they jump in to create a business without a vision. They might have maybe a mission statement, but most of them don't even have that. They
Right.
just say what it is that they want to do, right? I want to serve other people. I want to make an impact. How many times have you heard that?
Yes.
Well, how big of an impact do you want to make, and by when do you want to make that impact? What does that vision look like for you? So again, the link is below. I want to just remind all of you that are watching today, Carrie is one of the experts that's going to be on the summit on Monday and Tuesday, and also in the book. I'm so proud to have her in the book as well. And I know her and her daughter Laurel have also written a book, which I'll have her tell you about in a minute. But this is the reason why I bring women like this forward and put them into the spotlight, because Carrie has so much knowledge. She just said she's over 2 decades of knowledge in vision, and she's built a huge company off of having that vision and then now assists other women in doing that. So could you give our listeners just a couple of tips on what are a couple steps that they need to take to start, right? Get a piece of paper, maybe, and a pen is a good
Yes.
place to start.
Great place to start. And I definitely recommend handwriting this, not typing it, because there is a more powerful connection between writing and your brain, right? So yeah, you need a quiet space, which I think is the most challenging thing. The paper and the pen, no big deal. You mean I got to niche out some quiet time, like away from my computer, away from my phone, away from my people, that give me all sorts of distractions. So you
Go
gotta
to
get,
the bathroom and
yeah,
lock the door.
yeah.
Even then, there's little fingers that come under the doorway.
You would think that would work, but ironically, as I'm sitting here in my daughter's house, my grandson is trying to bust down this door right now. So, yeah, you got to get out, right? Even better if you can take yourself away somewhere, like to a cabin or the beach or something, very inspiring for you. But you've got to get in that quiet space, because what you have to be doing is listening to what your true desires are. That the older we get, the more buried we get, or the more buried the wants get. You know, a lot of people, the older they get, they can't even tell me what they really want anymore because they haven't thought about it in so long. So yeah, you've got to get in that quiet space and you have to really think. And then the second thing is we've got to put some dates on things so you can pinpoint a time frame. So I ask people to date the top of that piece of paper 3 years out from whatever day you are writing, and then think about how old you will be on that day, and think about the age of your kids, your grandkids, you know, parents, grandparents, whoever is involved in your life, and you still see in your life 3 years out. Because when I get people to put dates on things and ages, they start projecting into that time frame of, wow, okay, so there's a lot that I want to make happen before, you know, my kids leave the house or before we are ready to retire, or, you know, whatever. Right. So we have to put some dates on it, because that's what brings it in a little bit more clear so that people can really envision what they want.
Yeah, I think those tips are great, Carrie. And thank you so much for sharing that with our listeners, and for being part of the book and being part of the summit. I've been to one of Carrie's workshops that she's done when we were first getting to know each other. So crazy to me to think back, because we are doing so much work together now. We're collaborating on efforts. We have a mastermind that we do together and travel every quarter. There's so much we've done to collaborate. And there I walked in the very first time, hadn't even really seen you in person, and sat down at your workshop. And I was just like, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, but how do I get signed up with this lady? Like, she's freaking awesome. I loved everything that you were doing with your vision. I still have my paper sitting here in my desk drawer that has like my ice cream cone drawn on it. And so I won't tell you all the secrets, but Carrie has a lot of free giveaways that she's giving at the summit on Monday and Tuesday. And I believe, if I'm correct, and I could be wrong, but I believe Carrie's on day 2. So it starts on Monday, and then day 2 is the 13th, and Carrie is speaking on day 2. So you're not going to want to miss that. And like I said, it's free. It's free to register, but then it's free to get all of her downloads, all the other experts' downloads. So
It's going to be
what
great.
is one thing that you would like to leave our listeners with today on how vision has really impacted your life for you?
Well, there's so many, but the biggest one, of course, is that it got me through losing both my husband and my son, because I'm so anchored in my purpose and knowing why I'm here and why I do what I do. And with that, I now know why way back when I wrote my first vision, out of the blue, I wrote, someday I wanted to teach vision goal setting to other people, because God knew what was coming, right? So I am very aware of what my calling is. And now what I want to do is just help other people find theirs.
Yeah. And the storms that we have in our lives are really what help us grow those stronger roots for us to be stronger in our purpose, to be stronger in our vision, and to be here to support those. You have a beautiful daughter, Laurel, who's here, and a grandson and a son-in-law that need you and
Right.
need you at your best. And now the two of you are traveling around and doing vision workshops for young adults. So there's such a big impact that you're still here to make, obviously. And I know you have your book behind you. Is that right? Did you want to show everyone the
Yeah.
book that you guys wrote?
Yeah. So this is Keep Looking Up. This is the book that my daughter and I wrote in 2018, 19, 2019. It was 2 years after my son died that we decided to write this book, and took us about 9 months to write it. And then we had, you know, a 4-city book tour, and it all kicked off on my son's birthday, 11/11. So we've been speaking through, that kind of led her and I to work together and start speaking together. And so we do that a lot. So yeah, it was an interesting journey. Might be another one, not anytime tomorrow, but
Oh,
there'll
I'm sure there will be. So
yeah.
many people are like, Colleen, you need to write your own book. I know you love doing collaborations with other people, but you need to write your own book. I'm like, it is still in my windshield. It is not in my rearview mirror yet. So there's so much. If I would have written a book a year and a half ago when the first person said you've got to write a book, I would have missed out on the whole last year and a half, which has been probably my biggest growth that I've had in my entire life. And I feel like when you're in the middle of it, right, and it's in your windshield and it's not in your rearview mirror, not necessarily is that the time we write a book. You want to write about it after it's happened and how you can look at that as from a different perspective and write about that to someone else to help them. So thank you, Carrie, for being part of this book. Thank you for being a great friend of mine and in all these business adventures with me. See, this is what happens, ladies. You start collaborating with someone that you really like, and before you know it, you're making money together, you're partnering,
Traveling together. Yeah.
doing everything together. So we love it. We're traveling all over the place this year together. So Carrie, I can't wait to see you back in Arizona very, very soon. So we'll see you then. Don't forget to click on the link below. Join us in the summit so that you have the opportunity to meet all of the experts and get all their freebies. It's so much fun. All right, Carrie, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks, my friend.
We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.